I have the great pleasure of being here today with health tech innovators Bradley Beach and Dr. Gary Ansel, founders of Covellus, the world's only modular catheter system for minimally invasive surgical procedures. Bradley, Dr. Ansel, before we get into the ICI Global Digital Summit coming up in December, will you please take a minute to more thoroughly introduce yourself and how you've each impacted the cardiology space?
Brad, I'll go after you.
All right. Well, I'm an engineer and so product development engineer, but mostly involved in product development and manufacturing. And luckily found myself to catheter-based devices in 2005. And in terms of impact, I don't know. I like being an innovator. I liked finding unique product solutions, and I think this particular space, I think, is something that is amenable to individuals really, creating a significant impact, both from device perspective and probably also from a care perspective.
Very well said.
Yeah.
And I'm Dr. Gary Ansel. I'm the interventional cardiologist, and I'm the head for the vascular program at OhioHealth. So I'm titled Assistant Medical Chief. I've been doing cardiology and endovascular procedures for about 26 years. I'd say I've been fairly innovative. The Ansel sheath that most of these procedures are done through was developed by me. And then more recently, we've obtained FDA approval for a device that we sold to Surmodics for the removal of clot emboli out of the arterial system. But I've served with multiple different startups, and I've interacted with FDA and CMS on multiple different endovascular issues and cardiovascular issues over the years. And I'm really happy to be here. Thank you.
Well, I'm so pleased to have you both here. I'm always curious how leadership meets. It's like dating. It's such an important relationship. How did the two of you meet, and why did you want to work together?
Well, I met Gary through another startup company years and years ago, and so that relationship developed, and I don't know. Gary feels very much a straight shooter. He's going to tell you exactly like where he thinks this is going, where he thinks it's deficient, and then after post that particular startup, we kept in touch, and Gary was always just very generous with his time. When I, in particular with Covellus, and I wanted to work with him in the past, going forward, and we developed another working relationship through Covellus, which has been great.
Anything to add?
Yeah, and I feel the same way. Brad was the engineer for a startup, and I really liked working with him. He had really out-of-the-box thought processes. He didn't do the same stuff. And so when he contacted me about the idea, I was more than happy to do that. And it just happened to correspond with Dr. Michael Jaff and I starting a company called Healthcare Insights, which is a strategic advisory company for vascular and cardiovascular issues. And so it was just a perfect marriage to come off.
I've always found medical devices and health technology in general to be so familial. Once you've gotten your core partnerships in place, it's really hard to try anything new. I mean, it's so very, very important. I mean, these relationships are lifelong, certainly, and I think this relationship attests to that. Great. Well, shifting a little bit to Covellus. Can you give me a 40,000-foot level explanation of the problem that you're trying to solve and how Covellus is attempting to do so?
Yeah, I'll try. So it's a little bit different than most startup companies because it's not specifically developing a new therapy or a new way to treat a specific clinical condition. That's not really, like, my background is engineering and product development and manufacturing, so that's not, I'm not going to be the person that develops a new therapy, right? But what I did conceive of was a new way to think about how product solutions could be developed, within this type of space. So I saw what looked like an opportunity for approaching product solutions from using a modular approach instead of an integrated approach, right? And that's, so from a 40,000 view, that's what it is. It's a different way to conceptualize catheter-based product solutions for a certain category of minimally invasive procedures, not necessarily everything, right?
You know, what we've done and what Covellus' really approaches is helping a pain point. Every other industry has gone modular. Many others have gone modular. Cameras, you got different lenses, same body. Got different flashes, same body. Different tripods, same body. Screwdrivers, you can get a whole bunch of individual screwdrivers and fill up your tool chest, or you can get one handle with all the different bits. So in medicine, and we have a lot of pain points right now, right? Development times are way too long, so if you're going to develop a whole new device, it's, you know, years and years and years. It's also very expensive. Where if we start with our basic device, why improve the wheel if all you have to do is make sure the rubber's better, you're changing the treads, different hubcaps, those kind of things that do different things. And so it really did that. Plus, you know, at most of the centers, you've got to go outside the room to get your expensive product. So what's happening during that? We're standing there doing nothing. And time is money. So this actually changes that. It's a different pathway with the FDA, so it might be more efficient. It is a way to decrease the foot space or the foot plate of the device. So we might go to bring it in the room and keep it there, so that as these devices move outside the hospital and we're in office-based labs or ambulatory surgery centers, where efficiency is really driven because patients have to be treated well, they want to get in and out, they want to get a good result, and downtime is waste time, right? Henry Ford did that. It's modular, so we're going to be on a much faster system to take that basic device that we use all the time, and then just add these different dimensions to it on the tip so that we can be very quick and do our procedures much faster, much more efficiently.
And now you can conceive of product solutions that I think, to Gary's point, they could save time, right? You can improve their inventory management system with this, can reduce costs, and maybe even enable more advanced therapies. So that's the 40,000 foot idea, I suppose.
Very well said. So just kind of in summary, more productive and then improved cost outcomes.
Yep, I think
improved procedure times, because this will allow us to do several steps with the same catheter instead of doing this step, taking it out, putting another one in. And that all takes time, it all takes radiation. And so we actually have a lot of benefits from going to this route. Theoretically, it should be a really big deal.
Less opportunity for human error, from what it sounds like as well. So really.
You actually said it exactly right, because if they've got to go out of the room, they might not bring in the right one. Now you got to send them back out. Or they opened it up and now you got the wrong one, where if you've got them all lined up in the room, you've got the same setup all the time. The chance for human error, I really do think, goes down.
I could see why this is so important and why the two of you have been selected for ICI's 2020 Innovation Award and that you're finalists. So I appreciate that 40,000 foot level. This year is actually the ICI event's silver anniversary. So what are you hoping to get out of the 25th meeting?
Well, I mean, I like, I think that we've developed something really unique and interesting, and I think that can advance the state of care for patients and really improve how physicians can, create, on the fly, they can create customized solutions for a given procedure. So, I think it's a really excellent opportunity to bring that to a wider audience.
Well, I wish you both.
Right. I think that this could be a paradigm shift. The silver anniversary is the perfect time. When you're going to really do a potential paradigm shift for a whole industry, man, what better time than on the silver anniversary for ICI?
There is a beautiful continuity about that, I have to say. Beautiful. Fabulous. So what would you say, well, kind of two things. What partnerships, either strategic or financial or just support partnerships, are you looking in particular to get out of this meeting?
I mean, I think the trajectory is still to be determined, right? I think there's a lot of ways you could go. I think because it's a platform, there's opportunities for, developing the technology in different fields of use. And maybe that is, maybe you develop a partnership with one, one strategic in this particular area. Maybe there's other opportunities in a different area. It really is still, to be determined.
And it's about networking, I imagine.
Sorry, Kayleen. When you're going to do a paradigm shift, you really want to, the snowball has to start small and then it builds. And so, we really didn't know. I mean, it sounded like a great idea. We didn't know how other docs and physicians and industry would, take this. And as we were starting to introduce this, we see that there's huge interest. So that, ICI is the perfect time to start to introduce this, because if you're going to really do a paradigm shift, you want to get that groundswell so that there's demand for it as well because of the perceived benefit.
Very well said. Bradley mentioned just a moment ago, he said the word platform, which actually made me think about social platforms, digital connection, virtual meetings. How are you currently leveraging digital technology, either social platforms or content creation, to try to raise awareness for your company and to tell your company's story?
That's an excellent question. I honestly, being an engineer, I'm probably like only the beginning curve of that. I do try to use LinkedIn, press releases, but I think actually with Gary's help and Dr. Jack and Healthcare Insights, I think we're going to kind of continue that and try to really develop some more, like Gary said, start with the snowball, and then you can start rolling that down the hill and build some really good positive publicity.
And
as we've already started to move it along, we'll be writing a white paper so that there's an introduction to the concept to a much broader population, and then we'll certainly be adding the different touch places on social media, Twitter, all those kind of things to get input. Because as you create a paradigm, sometimes you don't anticipate things that'll be really changing what you're even doing. So as we do that, I think we're going to learn a lot as well.
Absolutely. It's almost, social media is almost like market research right there at your fingertips. I mean, there's no better way to know what your patients want or need than from them directly.
And they're taking a lot more role in it too. I mean, there's a lot of the things that people don't anticipate. Patients want to know what equipment you're using, and if they know that there's a faster way to do something, they may actually be drawn to that. So to your point, an educated patient population is really important.
I mean, especially now with the pandemic, I mean, arguably now more than ever, patients feel a responsibility for their own healthcare. And to that point, healthcare has now moved to this digital forefront. So from your perspective, what are some ways that cardiology or health tech in general can benefit from the progression of digital health?
Well, certainly, digital health is actually using a lot of brains at the same time, to your point. So, getting more input from a broader population. And, it used to be that, okay, well, I learned it from the patient population around my area. And then it got to be, okay, my region. Now with digital, it's worldwide. You can touch the world very quickly. So it's not like a country is going to have a huge above step or be a step of advance, because now everybody can share that knowledge almost immediately. So, I mean, that helps both the docs, the patients, the deliverers, the engineers, everybody can benefit from that input.
Absolutely. I've had just a fantastic time getting to know both of you. I wish you the very best in the 2020 Innovation Award competition. Before I let you go, do you have any last thoughts or anything that you want the audience to know?
Yeah, no, I'm just like really excited to be. I'm really excited to be. I'm very happy I'm part of this community, this industry of medical devices. I mean, I think it's really unique, and I'm really excited to bring these, this modular paradigm, to the market. I think it has a lot of potential to really like impact how physicians can give better care to their patients.
Absolutely. Dr. Ansel, anything you wanted to add?
I think I'm really happy to be working with Covellus. I mean, Brad and engineers I always call them the smart guys. They think of different ways to benefit the patient, and we're really happy because, to tell you the truth, I would never thought of this on my own. And Brad is really a very smart engineer, and I think he's caught on to something very important.
Well, as I said a little bit earlier, health technology, medical technology is very familial. So welcome to my family. Thank you for letting me be a part of your family, and I will see you on the virtual stage, and I'll be rooting for you guys.
Oh, thanks so much.
So thanks so much.
Thank you.